Good morning, good afternoon, or good night from whenever and wherever you are watching us. I am Cameron Scandal. That is Steven Treffler. We are the sound. Thank you so much for joining us today. We got a good show. We got a lot of stuff going on. We got some breaking news, another basketball-heavy show. We put a lot into this. It's going to be a good one. Without further ado, let's get right into it. Let's start talking about what we're talking about. Right before we got on air, literal seconds before we were ready to record, Damian Lillard has officially requested a trade from the Portland Trail Blazers. It had been talked about that he was going to be moved. It had been said that they were going to try to put him in a good situation, but it was never set in stone. Portland's GM came out and said, we are sticking with Dame. We're building around him. But now Dame said, nah, I'm out. Get me somewhere else.
Good for you, bud.
It's about time. It's about time. And the Blazers have also said it in this breaking news that they are willing to work with him to put him in a good situation, wherever that may be. Steve, you had mentioned to me before we started that there are already teams that Dame has said are the best fits for him. And what are those teams?
The best fits for Dame, according to his camp and according to people close to Dame, are either going to be the Nets, the Sixers, or the Heat.
He's mentioned that he has friends. He and Mikal Bridges are tight. He and Bam are tight. Philly's always been mumbling around in the Dame request.
You're not going to pull a guy like Damian Lillard. Like, Portland might accommodate him, but you're not going to pull a guy like Damian Lillard for nothing. Like, it's going to be a blockbuster trade. And I'm going to say this right now. Do you remember the trade that I sent you while I was at work yesterday between Portland, the Suns, and the Sixers? Which sent DeAndre Ayton to Portland, which sent James Harden to Phoenix, and which sent Damian Lillard to the Sixers.
I do remember that, now that you say that.
I'm not saying that trade is going to happen, but I'm saying that a similar trade to that, because I would have a hard time seeing the money issues with a lot of these teams where there isn't a third team involved.
We know Harden wants to trade. He's requested to be traded, but not requested to be traded, but he has opted in so Philly can work with other teams to trade him. We know he's unhappy in Philly.
Oh, no, he's officially requested a trade.
Oh, he has said, I want a trade?
Yes, he has requested out of Philly.
You give up Harden, obviously you got to give up more than just Harden for Dame.
Maxey's involved in any deal the Sixers make for Dame. We can't throw Tobias Harris with it because he's making $35 million a year plus too. So Harden with Harris would be like $70 million that they're taking in and only putting out, and they just signed Jeremy Grant to that. So to make that happen, they just signed Jeremy Grant to the $160 million deal. So to make that happen, and also to entice them enough to beat out any of those other teams for the trade, Tyrese Maxey almost has to be involved. I think that Damian Lillard ends up on the Heat, and the package includes some Tyler Hero. I think the package includes at least 3 first-round picks, minimum 3 first-round picks. Gabe Vincent's gone. Struss is gone. You have Duncan. You have Tyler Hero. You have some role players, Highsmith.
You throw in I'm looking at the Heat depth chart. I'm looking at my notes. You throw in Lowry and Hero, 1 role player and a couple picks. I think that's good for I don't know how salaries would work. I think that's good for Dame. You could start Dame at the 1, obviously. We'll bring Robinson back up to the 2. We still have Caleb Martin coming off the bench.
Right.
I mean, so it's doable. Like I said, I'd rather give up 2 starters and less role players. Especially if that's how you're gonna take it with the Dame trade, then all those backups and picks. Yeah,
we'll see.
So good luck to Dame. We hope the best for him in situation. Miami's nice all year round, man. I'm just saying, Miami be a good spot for him. So we'll see. But now to get into our actual first segment of the show, NBA free agency just getting started. Already a ton of moves. Already a lot of things happening, and it's not. To be honest, it's not really a lot of player movement. It's a lot of people staying with the same teams for extension. So. Just a few names to get right off the bat. Tyrese Halliburton, 5-year, $260 million deal with Indiana. Steven said to me before the show that makes Halliburton now the highest paid player in the NBA over Steph Curry.
$52 million a year.
That's crazy. Desmond Bane, 5-year, $207 million max with the Grizzlies. Strus has gone to Cleveland in a sign-and trade, 4-year, $63 million to Cleveland. Jackson Hayes going to the Lakers for an undisclosed amount of money. It hasn't come out yet. We know it's 2 years, though, at least. The Blazers all in on Jeremy Grant, giving him 5-year, $160 million.
Waste.
Good for you, I guess. Fred VanVleet, 3-year, $130 million to Houston. Didn't see Houston coming. It's a strange pickup, but
It's very strange.
I mean, he's probably going after the money at that point. But I mean,
God, yeah.
Houston already has a lot of guards. Like, they have young, with
Jalen Green,
Jalen Green, and
Jabari
but there's Kevin Porter Jr. That's what I was trying to think of. Yeah. So yeah, a weird guard pickup for them. Chris Middleton staying with Milwaukee 3 years, $102 million. Draymond staying with Golden State for 4 years, $100 million. And a move I also didn't see coming. Dennis Schroeder is going to Toronto for 2 years, $26 million. I thought for sure they were going to keep him and move off of D'Angelo. We'll still see if that happens, but surprising. Those are some of the bigger names, but not really worth going in too deep with. But yeah, the Middleton I saw coming. Kuzma staying with the Wizards for 4 years, $102 million. It's a lot of money, but I saw that coming with him staying. We knew Draymond was going to stay. So yeah, not a whole lot of super shocking moves here, but nonetheless, all of these are very impactful to the rest of the NBA.
The biggest ones that you named there for me that I think were the ones that were most shocking was the Fred VanVleet to Houston. From a winning standpoint, doesn't make much sense to me. I love their roster. I think, I was telling you last night, that probably makes them a play-in team. There's a lot of names, though, that haven't been signed yet that are still floating around out there, too, that we're going to talk about. So, I'm interested to see. Yeah, I'm glad that these guys re-signed with their teams, but it sounds like they're not done, some of these teams.
Yeah. I was thinking a little one that's nice is Derrick Rose going back to Memphis to be. Yeah. It's a nice signing. Good for Derrick Rose. But yeah, I don't think any of these signings are super noteworthy as far as like going real in depth. But again, they are important enough that it impacts the rest of the NBA and their teams at large. Now, the two free agency decisions that I had not mentioned that we are going to talk about in more detail. Kyrie Irving has re-signed with Dallas for 3 years, $126 million. I think we both and the world at large were pretty confident that Kyrie was going to be going somewhere else. I think Dallas, though, had no choice. I mean, just Kyrie Irving, his trade value has never been lower.
Ever.
No one doubts that Kyrie is an all-star, and no one doubts that Kyrie is, a bona fide starting point guard.
Greatest ball handler ever.
Right, and if you want to, where you draw the line at best players in the league, that's all whatever, but he might be in that group, sure. But just nobody wants him. And again, Dallas, their hand was forced in I'm sure they tried shopping him. I'm sure that there was a lot more they could do with that money to help Luka, but what more could they do? Kyrie in 2015, 18, 20, 21 did not play whole seasons due to injury. 22, he did not play a whole season because of his vaccine issues and the COVID protocol stuff. He clearly can't handle himself off the court. It's all these other things that has nothing to do with his play. So if he is, I guess, happy or doing better in Dallas, what more would you want? But I just think they could have spent that money more on getting Luka more legitimate help that he needed for this coming season.
No, yeah, you're right. Out of 328 possible games in the last 4 seasons, Kyrie Irving has played less than half of those. He's played 162 out of 328 possible games. That means he sat out 165 of them. You're also talking about Dallas, where we've also both mentioned that Dallas is an incredibly hard market to pull people into. So you're right. I don't know what other choice Dallas had. Now, is paying Kyrie Irving the same amount of money as Luka Doncic totally egregious? Yes. I do not think that Kyrie Irving is worth $40 million a year. Dallas needs to be careful, and they need to go out and get Luka more help than Kyrie Irving, because they were, fourth in the West before they got Kyrie, fifth in the West before they got Kyrie, and didn't even make the play-in after Kyrie. So
dropped to the 11 seed.
Yeah, so just to pay a guy like that kind of money, and to put your faith as an organization into Kyrie Irving, who is, on this list that I have, has requested the second most trades in the last 23 years.
I think Luka can be sometimes a bit of a baby and sometimes a bit of a drama queen, and I think he has not an attitude issue, but maybe like a short temper. And I think with Kyrie, who already kind of was causing some not antics, but like questionable things about the Mavs making offseason moves and people coming in as if like Luka wasn't enough.
Yeah.
I think in this season, there's a scenario where Luka or where Kyrie does something or does several things, and Luka's like, man, I can't do this anymore. Like, I can't play with this guy. And I think that goes the same way with Dallas. Like, everyone knows that Luka needs Dallas needs some size. They
Yes.
need other reliable scorers. They need they need defense. The Mavs are not good because Kyrie and Luka are both not great defenders on their own. And so they needed all these other things that were not Kyrie Irving. And it's kind of like with Portland, where at what point does Luka take all this as a slap in the face to him? And if they're going to treat him like that, maybe he eventually says, I'll go somewhere where I am more value. Because you're right, Dallas is not a great market, but neither is Milwaukee. But I think playing with Giannis or Luka should be enticing enough that you would want to go there. Like I said, I don't know if the Mavs had much choice just because they knew they weren't going to get back what they wanted to for Kyrie Irving. But I also don't know how hard they really tried to get Luka more help and do what they needed to do for him.
Yeah, well said. I think we've touched all the bases on this. It's a weird signing.
Yeah, and the other signing we wanted to talk about was James Harden has opted into his player option, meaning he is staying with Philadelphia, but he's only doing that so they can trade him to a better situation.
Yeah.
So James Harden essentially wants control of a team and to be the primary guy as if he is still 2018, 2019 James Harden. James Harden wants to play for a contender where he can control the ball, score 30, 35 points, get, 10 assists, be the man. Yeah, Steve.
Which contender is he going to be able to do that on, Cam?
I don't know.
Maybe a contender where James Harden's the best player on the team and can control the ball.
Can't.
Okay. All right.
Can't. Yeah. He just wants to be the man and have fun and score a lot of points, but also play for a title. And like you just said, there's no current contender, East or West, where James Harden will be the primary ball handler, be the guy with the ball, and you're still contending for a championship. It doesn't exist. Now, we had mentioned earlier, you had said about Chicago being a nice fit for him. Chicago's fine, but Chicago's not playing for a title. And and he wants to go to the Clippers, where he will not be the best player or the superstar. He will be the main playmaker, but that offense is running through Kawhi. Also, it's not like James Harden has this tremendous playoff value. He's proven every single season that he drops in the playoffs. So if you're actually a contender, what kind of value does James Harden bring to your team?
From a holistic standpoint, you've mentioned to me he's not a great locker room presence, and I agree with that. He's not like a team guy. And the other thing I'll mention to you about James Harden, and I wrote this down because I wanted to share this with you over the phone, over our stream. Since 2000, in the 21st century, a guy named Bill Simmons created a list of who has requested the most trades since 2000. James Harden is at the top with with 3.
Yeah.
Kyrie Irving is second with 2.
Yeah.
And from there's a list of about 8 guys that all have 1. Like, what does James Harden want? What does James Harden like? What is he trying to? I don't understand.
I just think he's delusional. So here's what James Harden is going to teams and saying. I'm a GM of a contending NBA team. And James Harden says to me, "Hey, I want $40 million. I want the ball in my hands. I want to be the main point of the offense. I'm not guaranteed to stay with you the entire time. I'm not guaranteed to really help you off the court in any way, shape, or form. I might get hurt. I might be out of shape. I'm not what I used to be, but I have a cool beard. How do we feel about this? Why would I give James Harden $40 million for what? I just don't understand. He thinks he has this value that he just does not have. You can't be a bad playoff performer. You can't be in bad health all the time. You can't be a bad or not great locker room presence, and you can't not have that much single value to winning and expect to get $40 million on a contending championship team. It's just not how it works. That's not how it works. I have breaking news.
Okay, go ahead.
Damian Lillard's preference is to be traded to the Heat per Mark Spears. Like, he's just said, there's also a report that says it's Heat, Clippers, and Sixers among teams that have interested, but Dame has said, I want to go to Miami.
Have fun giving up your bench and every first-round pick for the next 5 years.
I will have a great time. Listen, Pat. Pat Riley, listen to me. You and me. We're just right here. There's no one else. It's just us. Dame is really good. I understand. He wants to be in Miami. That's half the battle. You have to have the superstar want to be there. We have proven that we know what a good role player looks like, and we develop this really good off the bench talent. Okay. We also are overpaying dummy thick Kyle Lowry. Tyler Hero, I love Tyler Hero. Got to give something up. We are not Philadelphia and Daryl Morey. You got to give something up. Get not Kyrie. Get Kyle Lowry's fat ass out of there. Throw Tyler Hero in. You throw in the Jacquez Jr. kid. Maybe Jovic, maybe. And a couple picks. And watch the championship roll in. That's all I'm saying, Pat. Me and you, buddy. That's all I'm saying. All right.
I have a question.
Sure.
And this is, and I want your unbiased, unadulterated, as yes, you are a Heat fan, but we are the Sound.
Yep.
Do you think that Jimmy Butler will be okay not having the ball in his hand during the playoffs, or that Dame will be okay not having the ball in his hands during the playoffs?
Yes, because Jimmy's already said multiple times in multiple series that it's not me, it's us. I want to give it to the guys who are playing I think Jimmy totally will be okay with that. I'm totally okay with Dame taking shots.
I am afraid. So Damian Lillard has never had to share the court with another superstar.
Correct.
Miss me with CJ McCollum. People
try
to
tell
me
superstar.
Yeah.
He was never a superstar.
And when the Heat are most effective is when Jimmy becomes Hemi and he has the ball in his hands.
Yeah.
We've seen that through the playoffs. So
yep.
I'm just going to be curious to see how the mesh through if this happens, because Dame says he wants to go to the Heat doesn't mean that Portland has to trade him there. Sure. They're going to get whatever the best package is for Damian Lillard.
Sure.
In a good situation, in a contending situation. So we could probably throw out any other team that aren't the ones that you just named.
Yeah.
So because I will say if Damian Lillard goes to any one of those 3 teams you just made, they're contenders. Agree or disagree?
Agree.
Okay. So now it's which team gives him the most package. You're right. Pat Riley has a history of being able to make deals happen. Pulled LeBron and Chris Bosh a couple of years ago and created a pretty cool thing there with Dwayne Wade. So I think that the Heat definitely are the betting favorites to get him. And if that happens, I'm interested to see how they mesh when it matters.
I think it is going to go better than your thinking it's gonna. Because look at it this way. So Jimmy Butler is not a great.
What am I thinking? I
think it's gonna work. I think there's no reason to be trepidatious or concerned about how it's gonna work when it matters. Because so we've already just seen in the finals that Bam can be really good when it comes to playing winning basketball, and that's mostly gonna happen inside the paint.
When Jimmy Butler, has the ball.
Sure, Jimmy Butler has never been a great three-point shooter or perimeter threat. He took a lot of bad three-point shots this past postseason. He works really well slashing, creating his own mid-range shots, and working in that middle area. Obviously, Dame is one of the best shooters in the league, can shoot from quite literally anywhere on the court, has Steph Curry range, and has good isolation, like last seconds, let's make something happen ability. The Heat are already a franchise and organization where I said Jimmy and everyone else is like whoever has it, whoever is winning, whoever is doing the best right now is gonna be who has the ball. And I think they will all the three stars will have the recognition to be like, okay, he's working or I'm working and figure it out from there. And I also think Eric Spoelstra will create the best play in the best situation using those guys. That it's what they need to do. So I don't think there'll be an issue at all with who has the ball in the final moments or seconds or when we need to have a big play.
I don't agree, but that's fine.
Why don't you agree?
Damian Lillard torches offenses when he has the ball in his hand. He hasn't had to pass the ball to anybody in the last 3 seasons since CJ McCollum left. Damian Lillard's not effective off the ball, so moving around and coming off the ball to get open shots, we've never had to see Dame do that. That's not what Dame's ever been known for. So he's always been in control of the offense, but also Jimmy Butler's not a great off-ball player either. We saw that in the playoffs this last year. When Jimmy Butler had to play off-ball with Gabe Vincent, he struggled. But when Jimmy Butler's controlling the offense, he doesn't. Gabe had Bam Adebayo had his best series against the Nuggets when we were quite literally letting him have the ball at the top of the three or at the top of the key and allowing him to make moves to get his shot. So what I'm saying is the same thing that you've said to me in past years. I don't question Eric Spoelstra's ability to make things work. I think that he's one of the top 5, possibly top 3 best coaches in the NBA right now. My questioning is, you have 3 guys that the only time that they're effective is when they have the ball in their hands. So when they have to come off ball now, and I'm not saying it won't work.
Like, I don't think anyone's going to be selfish or think that, like, if someone does have the ball in their hands and it's not, I mean, also, that's going to create, like, space, and you have to be aware of all 3 of those guys. So someone's going to be able to have a mismatch or a hole somewhere. Jimmy especially is going to be the most comfortable, and I don't think there'll ever be an issue with if there's, say they have 8 moments where there's going to, like, someone needs to take the ball and win the game. If 6 of those moments go to Dame, I don't think Jimmy complains one bit. I just think we have different opinions on Damian Lillard at this point.
Yeah, we do, because I've not one time in this entire conversation have I said it won't work. I've said it'll be interesting to watch if it does work.
Yeah,
because I question Dame's ability to play or Jimmy's ability to play off ball. That's all I'm saying.
I'm not saying, but I just think there should be no reason to be skeptical.
Well, we have 0 evidence of that ever happening with Dame, and we have very small piece of evidence
of what ever happening.
Dame not being the primary ball handler and having to create offense off ball without it in his hands.
Well, then, but see, so then if he does, I'm okay with him having the ball in his hands. I don't think that's going to cause any kind of issues. Like, I don't think it's a bad thing to say we have to put the ball in Dame's hands.
No, it's not. But then Jimmy's not going to be able to be Himmy, is what I'm saying. He's not going to be able to have those historic playoff performances because he doesn't have the ball in his hand.
Okay, but then I think if he is being Himmy, he will have the ball in his hands. And Dame, like, I don't think that's what I'm saying. Like, whoever's going to be on and have it and deserve to have the ball will have the ball. I think they'll be able to defer to one another on who should be the one with the ball. Because, I mean, we just saw in the finals that Jimmy was not Himmy and Bam had a lot of it. So if that's going on and Dame has it, cool. But I think Dame will also realize Jimmy's popping off right now and let him cook if he is cooking. Even Tyler Hero, he could have came back. Now, who knows how true this is? He didn't want to come back in because he's like, I don't want to disrupt the guys who are playing well. I think that's how just Miami in general is. All those guys feel that way.
We'll see.
Okay, yeah, we will. That's fine. I just think we just don't agree on I don't know what you even want to call it. Dame's, I don't want to say efficiency.
I don't agree with the fit. That's what I'll say. If Miami gets him, they immediately become, I don't know if they're the favorite over Milwaukee. I'm not going to do that yet, but they're definitely second. I don't agree with the fit. That's what I'll say. If Miami gets him, they immediately become, I don't know if they're the favorite over Milwaukee. I'm not going to do that yet, but they're definitely second.
That doesn't make sense.
What?
And if the Sixers don't make a move to get somebody like that, I question if we're even top 4 anymore with the pieces we lost. So,
no. That's going to do it for us today. Good show for you. Real short, sweet, to the point. Again, another basketball heavy segment or another heavy show, but it's how it is sometimes. We will be starting our NFL division, ranking those at some point. Those segments will start. If you guys ever want to say something to us about why we're wrong, why we're right, you want to dispute us, whatever, we will gladly read your comments, respond to them, maybe even have you on the show. Who knows? So just make sure you let us know what you think about it. If you like this stuff, subscribe, like, and comment that too. We like hearing good things too, not just that we're stupid and wrong. So always remember that. And also always remember, if you are ever in need of intelligent and cogent sports analysis, just listen to the sound. We will always have you covered. Thanks so much for listening and watching, guys. Hope you had a great time here. Stay safe, and we'll see you next time.
Listen to the sound. I listen to the sound.